I'm Rod Duff, your host.
And I'm producer Barbie.
And together,
we bring you our podcast,
Insights in Straight Talk. And with that, producer Barbie and I are out. I'm in. Producer Barbie had her birthday yesterday, and for everybody that we kind of celebrated together with in a birthday song, but she's finishing up some things, updating invoices, all that kind of stuff. As you know, she's out in California, and she's been helping me also managing my sweet 16-year precious granddaughter, Emma Lynn. We're surprising her with something special to call her, actually. So we've been having a lot of fun and getting ready to go into the next part of the week. And we've had great discussions. So it's been very exhilarating. Today, Daniel is you know how we work with empowering the middle class through education. You know, elites have all the much more access to things that we all should have access to help generate and propagate and make a meaningful human experience amongst the great middle class. And Daniel is going through a process. Going through a process with him is a desire to be a better person, a better man, and be able to dig in and dig deeper for a purpose in your life through God. And it's a powerful message. I was very excited when I saw Daniel. When I saw Daniel and I were going back and forth, kind of setting some things up. So without any further ado, people are starting. You notice when we start out, the commercial was going, there's like 14 people there. And then when I started talking, just me, it dropped down to like 7 people. Now it's back up to 18 because they know Daniel's on. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man.
Yeah. So as I said, I'm really interested in this because obviously it's a personal thing. I'm one of those dudes, you know, and we were talking a lot back in the green room. And so let's just kind of start the way we were talking about, start from the beginning. What were the drivers? What were the experiences? People sometimes maybe, but people don't usually stand up and make a bold movement, you know, or direction in their life unless there's a reason. What do you say, Daniel?
I believe that completely. There's always a reason for a man to make a change. And that was something that was very prevalent in my life. I've had massive success my whole life financially and with my family and my kids. And I always just felt like I was at one level or another, an empty shell of a man. Like there's a hole in my chest and I've got to fill it.
Dude, I know what you're talking about, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it starts when I was 13 years old. I've always been in business, always been successful with making money.
Wow.
It was just a gift or a talent that God gave me at birth to be able to, you know, share and communicate a marketing message, whatever it is. And I literally decided when we moved into this big house in Ohio, my dad and my family and my brothers and my brother and my sister and my mom, there was a riding lawnmower. And he's like, hey, I'm going to pay you every time you mow the lawn. I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to mow it twice a week. So I get paid twice a week. And from there, I decided to build a business around it.
You said, hey, I like this stuff. Hold on. I like this.
Yeah, I want more candy. That was like my motivating factor was I want more money so I can buy candy. That was my mind. 13, you know?
Yeah.
And so
no, that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
Right.
So I literally
but you could facilitate it better than all the other folks in the neighborhood your age, right?
Well, I thought I did a really good job at mowing the lawns, you know, back then. You know, you've seen Waterboy. They got that from me. You know, driving that riding lawnmower around, that was me. I was bidding jobs. I was using the house phone, the analog, you know, regular phone. We didn't have cell phones then. And, you know, I would drop flyers in the mailbox. The mailman wasn't too happy about me using the mailbox, but I did it anyway. And they would call and they would say, yeah, I want a free estimate on the lawn service. It was called Dan the
How
Man's
old were
Lawn
you at this time?
13.
Dan the Man, I love it. 13 years old. You're describing what you were doing to build your first business.
That's right.
That's impressive as hell. Yeah. I mean,
it was exciting. So I would get
Yeah.
messages in between me playing with my friends in the neighborhood and riding my bikes and playing sports and all that other stuff. My mom would literally give me messages. They would be in my room, written down on a piece of paper. You've got to call this person. You got to call this person. They want a bid here. They want this. They want this service. And
Mom
so I would
became
literally,
office manager, huh?
Yeah. So I would literally
Mom
go and
became
bid the job. And yes,
Right.
I would bid the job and get it. And then I would service those clients over the summer. And then in the fall, I would do the leaf service. And then in the winter, I would do the snow blowing because we had a snow blower. And, I was working year round with clients and customers, and I had enough money to buy my first car cash when I was 16. It was amazing.
That's incredible. That is somebody who learned the proper lessons growing up and had a background to be able to take that energy and act on it, because not everybody does, and certainly not at 13. That's an awesome story.
Yeah.
And how do you stay? You've been doing this a long time. The old story: once things get comfortable, you might get too comfortable.
Yeah.
And the question here, I believe, is a really good one. How can we build discipline when life gets chaotic?
Yeah.
That's when you need the discipline the most, right?
Yeah. So that's a decision. It's not it's not hard. It's a decision. That's all it is. We own all of our decisions. So every time that we have a decision to make, it's up to us, Rod. Like, are we going to honor the commitment that we made to ourselves around our health or our wealth or our family or whatever it is? If there's something that we want and we make a decision to do that, discipline just builds momentum on top of each other. So if I want to wake up at a certain time to hit the gym before I have anything else that I do, that's what I do. And it's discipline. So when you have discipline by making this decision, that's the first step in being able to attract what you want in life.
Yeah. And, discipline is that thing that, like a muscle, you got to keep working on it. And you've got to drive that to become where it becomes then a habit, right? I mean, life becomes less chaotic. And when it is, you're okay with it. You're set. You learning that as early as possible to get those repetitions in is awesome. What's the one truth you wish every man could embrace today? And I want to also say, timing on this whole subject, as we were talking back in the green room, this subject is right now because men need a lot of help. And like you said, they've got that hole in there, finding a spiritual guide, God, somebody who is bigger than you are, is always something that empowers anybody. And I mean, what do you wish every man could embrace right now today?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, God. That's the first and most important. We were given 10 commandments. These were rules to live by. And I'm not going to say the commandment perfectly. So if you're, one of those Christians that know them all, I applaud you. But from my, understanding of the first commandment is we have to love God. We have to idolize God with everything that we have. God is first. That is what he wants. He created this world. So if we just take a step back for a moment and just really understand this fact that first and foremost, we have to honor God. We have to love God. We have to trust God. We have to follow God's guidance, his inspiration, his revelation.
100%.
It's there. You got to ask for it. And when you get it, you got to go for it. The Big Balls Brotherhood is obviously, you can see my shirt. It's about men being strong. It's about men having big balls, about listening to God and doing what God is telling them to do. So that's really where this starts.
how much in this transition that society is going through, that's not only that's not even just work that needs to be done. There's especially guys that have been growing up for under the, that's perfect age to be affected by the emotional influence, whichever way you want to look at it, of toxic masculinity. I was seeing your point in there, and I'd like to also drive into a little bit on that. I haven't got down to the end of the. I don't know if somebody else is gonna. Well, we got a lot to catch up on, brother. We in physical fitness. So both these things, right? How does the current state of affairs in society, in the way that it pictures or envisions men, and testosterone's the answer to this one, isn't it? Physical fitness and living a purpose of driven life.
Yeah. I want to back up for a second. I want to answer that question. Can I make a point first, Rod? Would you be okay with that?
Absolutely, man. Okay. It's a conversation, dude. Tell me what you got. Good.
It just stimulates, a thought that I want to share with everyone, which is we have been in a spiritual battle from the beginning of time, before we've even had any recorded, scripture or Bible or when they were writing on scrolls back in even prior to the caveman days, to where we've always had a spiritual battle. We see it starting from Adam and Eve, but it happened even before then. There's a spiritual warfare that's happening. There's good versus evil. And what we're seeing, we're coming out of it, which is amazing, with the leadership that we have as a country and the leader that we have, which is incredible. But prior to that, the spiritual battle was very prevalent, because here's what happens. When the enemy confuses a man, when the enemy says, you're not supposed to be strong, you're not even really a man, like you start getting into this confusion.
Oh, man. Yeah.
This is where that spiritual battle is like screwing us completely. So understanding that if we can identify a problem, then we can actually look at the problem for what it really is. The problem is we have a spiritual battle, and the evil side of this battle, or the bad side of this battle that's been going on forever, is trying to weaken the man. So when people buy into this, like they were for a while, for over the last 4 years, it was toxic, and it was bad, and it was only weakening the man. It's very simple. Would you rather go into a physical battle with weak men or strong men on the front lines? Like, really, just answer that question. If you're the enemy, and you have let's go back into medieval times, and we're fighting with swords, right? We've got all these gadgets that are really like forged out of steel. That's our weapons. We don't have the technology we have now. Would you rather fight an army of strong men, or would you rather fight an army of weak men? Think about that.
That's a no-brainer, man.
It really is.
I get the message, man. That's so true. And having strong men, it's kind of let me just step back with you before we're going to go another step back here a little bit, and I'll join you on that point. In as I want to say the 50s era, there was, society shifts in there, and then through the 60s and 70s. And I think really starting towards the end of the 80s, you said it didn't just happen in the last 4 years. It's been building, and probably before that, but you really start to notice that erosion, or that interest or enjoyment of being a man. You start to notice that as society's starting to work that through somewhere in there. So it isn't just 4 years. This is generations, man.
I'd like to answer the original question, which was how important is physical fitness, for a man, and for him to live his purpose. Here's what I believe. I believe all men are supposed to be strong. I believe all men are supposed to follow God. I believe all men are supposed to lead their families. Like, let's test this for a second. I go to the gym 5 days a week. I know that when I hit my back and buys, which is what my workout was today, day 2 of my 5-day week, when I get out of the gym, my muscles are swole, I feel stronger, and I feel more powerful. When I come home, my wife can't keep her hands off me because I'm in power. I'm strong. She'll follow me because I'm leading her. I'm leading her physically, and not in like a dictator way, but she can look at me and trust me because she feels safe. All women just want to feel safe. So being strong physically, being strong mentally, being strong tactically, these are all what did Hitler do? He took all the guns away. What were they trying to do? They were trying to take our guns away just a couple of years ago. Why? So we can't defend ourselves.
Still are. I mean, that they're just don't have the spotlight right this second, but they're true. That hasn't gone away.
That's right. I believe it's flipped a little when it comes to the leadership that we have now, but yeah, there's still a problem.
100%.
And that problem goes down to the source of the problem, where let's weaken the man, let's confuse the household, let's create turmoil in the household, so this battle can't be won on the front lines. Because even if we're not lining up with swords, and this isn't, David and Goliath era, or this isn't that time, we're still in a battle. We're still in the dirt. We're still ready to fight the enemy. It just looks different now. It's still the same battle. So absolutely, men being strong physically, mentally, massively important in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't know how anybody could argue with that. The unfortunate thing right now is it's a bigger battle to be that without pushback than it should be. I mean, what you're describing right now, like you said, goes back to the Bible, and it goes back to really human society going up. And where I think the failing or falling of the masculine male, we used to be the women in the village would take care of that. I mean, from the beginning of time, and the men would go out and hunt. And there may be an example of something different here or there, but throughout time, that's the DNA. And what happens is if you start peeling that away, everything you just said happens, and everything. Yeah. I mean, an entire generation, and literally that has been engraved since the beginning of time, right?
That's right. It's absolutely right.
That's amazing. So here, let's kind of, we're at the same space here, so to speak. What is the most misunderstood part of the masculine purpose today? I heard one gentleman describe it as be dangerous, just never use it.
Yeah.
I thought that was powerful.
That's powerful. I think we go back to the conversation that we've had, from the beginning of this actual, meeting that we've had here, which is why is there a problem? The problem is to weaken the man. So if we look at why and the source of this, why is men being weak, and why are we even having this conversation? It's a valid conversation, but why are we having the conversation? Because that is the spiritual battle. That is the enemy infiltrating our minds, our souls, our hearts. So the purpose today for men is the same purpose that it was when God created men, was to lead and to be strong men. He never, I don't remember ever reading in the Bible, you should be soft and you should be weak. I don't remember reading that ever, Could you ever come up with a verse or a chapter in the Bible where it says men are supposed to be apologetic and weak and confused about them being a man? No, never.
Nope. Not even an inkling, right?
No.
I mean, that's the opposite. So as an element of things that society is, like you're saying, pointing at, that needs to be different. So what as far as that message, as far as that misunderstanding, how do you think that's going to evolve with the way society is going? Is this a quicker fix now? Is this meaning traditionally men haven't expressed their feelings, right? I mean, men have been very closed. They've been, they are not ones to broad brush it, not ones to express their feelings. And so in this time, how does that all, what does that look like? How does that all evolve? And that's your story, is that exact, I'm leading up here, a little foreshadowing. That's exactly your story. And there's about 3 or 4 questions that are really close to this. So I'll pop them in and out as you're going, but this is kind of the meat right here to me anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So the truth is, I don't care about feelings that another man has. We're built to lead. This is the same point I'm going to say. We're built to lead. If we're leaders, we don't care what other people think. We don't care what other people say. What we're doing is we're here to lead. We're here to lead a world that God has built for us and given us. This is an opportunity for us as men to be stronger. Doesn't matter what people say. Doesn't matter what people think. You can test this right now. Think about it for a second. If you're a weak man and you have relationship problems and your wife doesn't follow you, your wife doesn't listen to you, you have problems financially, you have problems domestically, are you a leader? I could guarantee the individuals that are listening, I might upset some people here, and I really hope I don't completely upset you. But the truth is, if you're not leading, your life is not going to be as successful as it's supposed to be, because you're not in the DNA. You're not in where you're supposed to be. When we lead, when we're strong, we make more money. Let's test it. If you're making more money, do you feel more powerful, Rod? Well, I don't know where you went, Rod.
Oh, dude, damn it! I'm sitting there answering your. I don't feel like a leader right at this moment, but
you're a leader, Rod. You're doing great.
Get me back on track here. So, yes, I do feel like a leader when I'm making money, but on top of that, having an effect on others that follow you because of your energy is. I mean, that's really where you feel like successful and a leader and empowered, and life's mission is you're taking care of it. You're doing it, man. You're following God, what He put you on this earth to do as your mission. Heck, I should have been dead 3 different times, and I'm still here only because He won't let me. He won't let me screw it up too much. And He says, "You're not finished yet, dude. You got this mission." Finally, I got it after the 3rd time. I've been good since. I had a motorcycle accident where all the bones on my left side of my body were broken. My ribs were 4 or 5 or 6 pieces. I got metal in here that I got a scar on my back that looks like a great white shark took a bite out of me or bite into me. So anyway, absolutely, man. If you're not living your mission, if you're not living with leadership, if you're not living with that confidence as a male, like you said, you're going against your DNA. Yeah. And not only are you hurting yourself, but you're hurting family, technically, and you're really hurting society, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
completely. And you brought up a great point. It's not just about making money. It's about the influence and the impact that the money actually creates. So when a man is more powerful and he makes money, he also has more influence. He has more influence over his family. Because when you create the life that is beyond your family's wildest dreams, they're going to go, whatever our father is doing or whatever my husband is doing, the wife talking about this,
right?
They're going to agree with it because their life is good. Their life is good. You're making an impact in your family. Think about your workplace. Say you have 100 employees. And all the employees love coming to work because you're leading the company and the company is successful. And those employees are feeling like, you know what we're doing here, the product or the service that we're offering is changing lives. I feel good about that. I love coming to work every day. That is impact. So money and impact, you can't have impact if you have no money. Doesn't work. When was the last time you were impacted by someone that was completely broke in a positive way? Could you remember one?
No,
Not at all.
not
There was
at all.
There was a man. I was leaving the gym this morning, and my wife actually came to the gym with me. She did her workout. I did mine. We're driving back. We're in the truck, and she's like, I feel like we need to bless this man. It was a homeless man. I gave him money, and I'm not saying this because I'm a want you to think I'm a great guy. I don't usually do that. But when my wife is in her spiritual realm and she's connected, when she gives me something like that, I definitely, I'll say, yeah, no problem. So we gave him some money. He was so thankful. And my point to this is, though, if he were to give me business advice, or if he were to give me leadership advice, or if he were to give me advice about building my strength or my body or my honoring my temple that God gave me, I'm not going to listen to him. He has no level of impact over me at all.
No.
So just understand that being strong and powerful and making money and having impact, those all come together. They all work together.
Yeah. And bringing that together is affects, like I kind of said before, affects you, but bringing that together. I mean, look at anything that's worked well, and it's been buy-ins on whatever that is. Like you just said, if you're a leader, you got 100 employees around you, and they have a buy-in. They want to come to work. You excite them because you have a good vision. You have a great vision, and you're empowering them to make those things, those decisions. That makes you a leader, right? And you become more influential and wealthy if you're more influential. So that's an excellent point. This has been sitting up here for a little bit. I wanted to get to it. It's an interesting question. I don't know if it's a little, Mr. Kabar. I don't know if this is a little bit of a, I'm gonna throw you a fastball or just this.
No, bring it. I love this question. I can see it too. I think it's a great question.
Yeah.
Question is, how do you know the difference between your voice and God's voice? It's simple.
Yep.
Okay. First off, you have to have consistency. This is one of the things that we do inside the Brotherhood. The commitment is that we read the Bible every day. We read at least a chapter, or we read a couple of verses a day. Once we have this time with God, and once we're open for guidance and for a message, that voice or that thought or that idea, you can distinguish it if it's an abundant idea, an abundant thought, something that's good.
Hey, describe abundant thought, something that's good.
Yeah.
Meaning our thoughts are whatever those thoughts are, and then you feel an abundant thought. Is that is that the difference or a misunderstanding?
No, that's great. So let's look at it from a tree's perspective. Okay. You have a big oak tree. No, let's say you have a big apple tree. Okay. That tree takes nutrients from the ground and it grows. Then it has branches. Then it produces apples. That tree does not survive eating its own fruit. It doesn't survive by eating those apples. Do you see what I mean? So that mission that tree is on is way bigger than just the tree. Same thing with a man. Are you going to work just to pay the bills, or are you going to work to make a huge impact and change the world?
Yeah.
Those are the kind of questions that when you ask God, what can I do for you today? It's a very unselfish question. What can I do for you today? And then you start to get abundant thoughts and abundant answers. However that revelation comes in, it's going to change things forever for you. Then you're on mission. Then you're doing something that actually counts. How many times as men are we sitting there going, this is it? I set this goal. I set this target. I wanted to make 100,000 in a month or 100,000 in a week, or I wanted to make $1 million in a year. And then you do it. and then you feel like it's not enough, it's because it's not enough. It's not enough if it doesn't feel like enough, because you weren't producing fruit that was more than just for you. That's the truth here. What are you doing that can actually change and make an impact on the world?
That enlightens or helps or grows or empowers society, civilizations, just as strong as each person puts it out there. You know, the more, like you said, that buy into that impact is, you know, a reason the great middle class can move. There's a reason that. Oh, by the way, earlier you were talking about having wealth, and you know, if you're living who you are in that DNA, your family adores you because they look around, they see all the things going on, and this isn't a political talk, I know, but immediately my head went to Donald Trump, and unless they're all freaking great actors, that's a family that I've never seen love each other more than any of them. The Trump family, you know,
look at the contrast. Look at the contrast. We don't have to go deep into this, but look at the contrast just for a moment. Look at the Trump family. Look at the level of success and impact all of his kids are making on the world today.
Every one of them.
Look at our last leader. Look at his children. Look at the level of impact that those individuals are making on the world. Can you see there's a big contrast and a big difference here? A massive difference, to a point to where it's stupid to even not be able to recognize that. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's all about money. No, it's not. It's about money, and it's about impact, and it's about influence. The Trump family has influence. They have impact. Donald Trump has so much influence over the whole world. He's literally changing the world and impacting the world at a global level. He's not just running our country. He's literally changing the whole world. That's because he's powerful. He leads with power. He doesn't lead with weakness. He doesn't fall going up the stairs. He doesn't fall asleep when he's trying to give a message. He doesn't forget his words because he's incapable. He's strong. Like, that's the difference that I see here. Yeah. Those, each one of those are perfect side by side comparisons of the difference of what's happening. Yeah.
And
I want to answer this question that's on the board here from Don. Can I answer this question?
Don, how did your journey was? Oh yeah, I honestly, I did not know that. So I was kind of leaving it lingering out there for you because I didn't know. So thank you, Don. You asked the question I did not know. So there you go. Guess.
So I don't know where Don actually heard about my sobriety story or where he read it or what happened, but that's great. I do have a sobriety story. So I'd like to spend a minute or two and just kind of explain this and really answer this question.
100%.
So
absolutely, go for it, man.
So I was in the bottle. I was smoking weed and drinking every single day for a very long time. When I was in high school, all the way until 15 years ago, almost 15 years, July 7th, 2010 is my sobriety date. So July 7th this year will be 15 years. Here's the first part of the answer.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
For you.
Here's the first part of the answer. The enemy uses alcohol and drugs to disconnect you from God. That is the truth. Think about it for a second. When you drink and you get drunk, or when you use drugs and you get high, you are not connected to God. You aren't. I don't care who you are. You think, oh, I'm going to smoke pot so I get closer to God? Nope, that's the wrong story. It's not happening. It's not. And if you smoke pot,
that's so wrong. It sounds funny. That's so wrong. It sounds funny, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's legal in some parts of the country, and that's cool. Whatever. If you smoke pot, that's fine. I just want you to know there's a level of disconnection. There's a level of spiritual warfare that's happening right now in your life when you're using drugs or you're using alcohol, because there is a disconnection, guaranteed every single time, depending on what level of alcohol or what level of drugs you use. Marijuana is a drug, in my opinion. There's much stronger and heavier drugs. My point, though, is it's disconnection. It's something that the enemy is using to disconnect you away from God. So when you take the disconnection away, and this is really the answer to the question, when you take the disconnection away and then you look for connection, you can have it. And when you have connection,
Wow.
you have purpose,
Okay.
you have mission, you have a reason to live and a reason to actually work for God inside of his world. This is God's world. This is not our world. We should not feel justified that we're here. This is a gift that we're here. This is a gift that we woke up this morning. It's a gift that we get to have this conversation. It's a gift that I have my beautiful wife and my 6 children. These are all gifts from God.
You're 6?
I'm not justified. No one owes me anything. I owe God. God does not owe me. The world does not owe me. The United States does not owe me. Matter of fact, they keep asking me for more money, which is a completely different topic. But my point is, this is a gift. Life is a gift. It really is. If we can look at it from that perspective and be in an abundant life, abundance equals connection. It does. Gratitude equals connection every single time. If you're not grateful, then you don't have the connection that you could have. If you're the opposite, if you're in fear, if you're in the opposite of gratefulness and you're in fear, or you're in scarcity, or you're in lack, disconnection. We're literally talking about the enemy's tool belt right now. When you're scared, you don't believe in God. You don't have a faith in God that he's going to bring you through that trial or that tribulation or that test or whatever it is that's going on in your life. That's the truth. So
it's kind of like I heard something that, social media isn't necessarily the best thing in the world, but it's great for getting information and it's not great for a lot of other things. But the saying goes, and it was a movie that was out a little while ago. I loved it. But the actor said to the female actor sitting next to him, and he said, I asked for patience and God gave me work to do to keep patience, and on and on and on, because I talk about parenting your children, and we were just talking again yesterday versus, raising your children versus parenting your children. There's a subtly heard, but dramatically different way of preparing your 6 kids. Yeah, dude. Preparing those to those children and then young adults to go out and make a positive impact on the world. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that leads right here. As far as honestly, Jeff Lamb. Oh, I think that name sounds familiar. Anyway, sorry. How can men balance? This is a kind of an obvious put together answer. Ambition, faith, balance ambition, faith, and family without burning out. Isn't it putting all those together electrifying, or as Greece used to say, or empowering or energizing, or, it's always hard to burn out, or it's always difficult not to burn out on something when you're giving your full energy. But at the same time, faith and family restore that.
Yeah. So I agree, and I have a different approach to answer this, if you're okay with it.
Perfect. Oh, yeah. Hey, hold on a second. The mantra of this show is that you are the expert guest, and my purpose here is, for my audience, is that I'm down here as the safety net. I gotta. If I understand it, trust me, everybody else is going to understand it. So changing or working with a response, that's our gig here, man. Let's exchange ideas and discourse, right?
Yeah. So Jeff, the answer to your question from the way that I see it is, when you have a vision for your life completely with clarity and you establish this in your mind, when you have a vision that is so big that you'll do anything to get it done, regardless of what it is, there's never burnout, ever. Like if you know exactly where you're going with your
Good point.
with your family or with your business or with your impact on the world or with your faith or with your body and your level of power and strength, your level of muscle, whatever it is, if you have a vision that's big enough to where it kind of scares you to think about it, that is going to drive you and pull you. That this is like Tony Robbins right here. It's like, do we want to push or do we want to be pulled? I want to be pulled. Being pulled is much easier than pushing. So if you have a vision that is so big that it almost scares the crap out of you, if you hit it, that's the kind of vision that you want. We set 3-year visions inside the Brotherhood. And the reason why we do this is because we want you to actually expand and have your mind open enough, like big enough. It needs to be big enough. Too many men set goals and targets that are too small. They're too small. And if they're too small and they don't give themselves enough time, and if they're too small or they don't have enough time, they never hit the goal because it's not enough. It's not enough. We don't have time. And I don't share this publicly, all of the vision that I have inside of 3 years, but some of the parts that I do share is I'm going to change the world for God. Like I'm here to change the world for God. He put me on a mission to connect as many men as I can to him and to strengthen these men so they actually do what he's telling them to do for his kingdom, for his earth, for his world. Like that's a vision that I don't hit snooze. I don't not wake up when I need to wake up. I spend an hour with God in the morning and I hit the gym before any work starts, simply because these are the commitments. These are my disciplines. This is part of my mission. I have to be ready to do what I'm going to do for the day, physically and mentally. And I've understood this fact that if you can win your morning, you'll win your day, you'll win your week, you'll win your month, you'll win your year. You just have to win the morning. You win the morning and you actually make a commitment to yourself. This is what I'm going to do in the morning. This is when I'm going to start. And these are the things that I'm going to accomplish, and set yourself up to win. Meaning if you're not a strong man, don't say you're going to bench press 500 pounds tomorrow, because if you don't have enough muscles to do that, it's probably not a good idea. You're going to fail. Yeah. You're going to hurt yourself. My point though is set targets that you can win. And if you win every single morning, you'll continue that winning philosophy and that winning feeling. And then your subconscious will be drawn to winning. And when all you want to do is win, there's no burnout. No way. Just set the vision big enough.
Yeah. I mean, if you think back, what our mind can believe easily can be achieved. It's a matter of, like you said, set those daily habits, or those missions, those achievements, those levels of required that require each time just a little bit more. Like you said, if it's easy, right, then you are putting out there the vibe. I'll use that. I'm kind of into that word right now. That's going out there, and you create a better world within yourself, and that's all we're all trying to do. As far as resistance or doubt. Oh, by the way, we've got about a half 7 or 8 more to go. So from experience, this is going to get real close to 1. So I want to go through some things as per you're comfortable with, because I could do this for another hour. This is a great talk, man. I really having a good time here. How do you deal with resistance and doubt when you are following this calling, your calling?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the question, Jason. So here's the deal. The first thing that you need to establish, and the first thing that you need to believe, is that God wins every single time. God wins every single time. So if you are following God's calling that he has for you, if you truly are doing what God has built you to do, and you're becoming the man that you're supposed to become, and you're connected to God and that is God's calling, God's mission for you, you are guaranteed to win if you don't quit. You are guaranteed to win because you are connected to God and it's God's mission for you. You won't lose. So regardless of what resistance come, you just give it a good football stiff arm. You just push it away. Any kind of doubt that you get, you just have to remember that God wins every single time. Let me give you an example. It's kind of a scary example. Let me give you an example. There was a time back in biblical times where he wasn't very excited with the way people were treating his earth and the way people were treating each other. So you know how God won? You know how he fixed it? He told Noah to build a big boat. It's called Noah's Ark. I'm sure you've heard this story.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah. And he put some animals on there so you didn't have to redo all of that, right? And he put a couple of people in there so they could, recreate, so you didn't have to redo that. And ultimately he flooded the world. Why? Because he wins every time. Every single time he wins. He threw plague after plague after plague on Egypt. Why? Because he was sick and tired of the way that they were having slavery and they were running their actual, country or their city or whatever it was called back then. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was tired of it. So you know what? I'm going to win. I'm just going to throw you a plague. Oh, that plague didn't hit. Let me throw you another. Let me throw you the ultimate plague and wipe off a bunch of children, which is rough, right? This is rough. But
firstborn.
That's right. God got their attention, but the fact of this conversation is God wins every time. So if you're truly inside of God's mission, inside of God's calling, you are guaranteed to win if you don't quit. Here's the promise that God gives me. He reminds me this at least once or twice a week when I'm in my time with him in the morning. He promises me, and his commitment to me is that he will give me everything I need to complete my mission for him. Let me be very careful with how I said this. He will give me everything I need to complete his mission for me, for him. Not for me, for him. Meaning, he's not going to guarantee that I'm going to get another race car. He's not going to guarantee I'm going to get another motorcycle. He's not going to guarantee that I'm going to get another travel trailer. That's not the guarantee. He's not going to guarantee me that I'm going to get another $1 million. That is not the guarantee. The guarantee is he will give me everything I need to complete his mission. He's not just going to do it for me. He's going to open up the door. He's going to open up the opportunity. He's going to put someone in front of me. He's going to do something that I need to do to step into that opportunity to win the mission for him. His guarantee is that I will have unlimitless, like it will be limitless, unlimited opportunities to win his mission for him. That's the guarantee and the promise. So
that's
understanding
amazing guarantee.
Connect and do what he wants you to do and you'll win. It's that simple.
Yeah. This next coming up question is really a good one because we've talked about your mission quite a bit but not enough. Round 2 maybe someday coming up. But the question as far as, which is always interesting to me, when was that moment? I know you started working at 13, things built into you, but was there? I'm assuming there was a moment. Yeah, that moment that God's guidance completely, let's pivot, new path.
Redirected my path, absolutely. So I'm going to back up for a second. 13, making money, doing my own business. Baseball player, had the greatest dad in the world. We had a batting cage in our backyard, every place that we lived. So I was just.
What did you play? What position did you?
I was a catcher.
Oh, my one that just a couple of years ago went into the Army, used to actually went to Vanderbilt. I said, I don't want to do this anymore, but he was a catcher. That's a great, that's an awesome position, man.
It really is. So
it is.
I played a couple of years in college, played 1 year in independent ball. And then I hung up the cleats.
Yeah, I know that.
I got into the mortgage business, 22 years, massive success. 2008, got crushed just like a lot of guys did in the mortgage industry, right? Oh, yeah. My story, you've heard this a million times. I got back into the mortgage business after I got sober. Okay. 2010 is when I got sober. Rebuilt my mortgage business, rebuilt my career, was owner of a second mortgage company at the time. Hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in every month I was making a lot of money, having a lot of success, helping a lot of families move into their homes. I felt this emptiness inside, this hole that was in my chest, Jack. And the problem was that I didn't know what the problem was other than I needed to get out, and I didn't know how to get out. I built a coaching business. I was successful in that, but it still wasn't like filling this void that was in my chest. I had this like soul that was burning inside of me. Like, this is not it. This is not right. I was searching. I was looking like, what is it that I need to do? I had a great connection with God at the time. I've had a great connection with God for 15 years. This is when it really started to turn on, to where I could hear his voice. I could feel his guidance. And he told me, literally, I have $100,000 that hit my account. It's the 5th day of the month in the mortgage industry. I got 25 days left. I wasn't even expecting the 100,000 to hit. I was just in the minutia of just closing a bunch of transactions and making a lot of deals, right?
Yeah.
I see the $100,000. I look at my bank statement and I'm like, where did this come? What is this? My account is wrecked. When you're not used to, when you're not anticipating 100,000, when 100,000 shows up, you start asking questions. So I'm looking around. I'm like, oh yeah, that's from the title company. Oh yeah, I remember. Those were the closings. They paid me out. Okay, great. That's awesome. And then I felt terrible, like terrible. And I'm like, why do I feel terrible? And then I hear God's voice booming inside. It just enters into my heart and into my soul and into my mind. And I can like literally, I'll never forget this. He's like, close it down. You're done. And I look up and I'm like, what do you mean I'm done? You're done. You're done in the mortgage business. So first resistance was, wait a minute. I have a lot of responsibilities. I've got a whole staff. I've got a family. I've got all of these expenses on a monthly basis, because when you make a lot of money, you also buy a bunch of stuff. So I have a lifestyle that I have created, and I'm counting on that mortgage money to continue this lifestyle. And all of this fear set in. All of this doubt set in. But I knew that that was the voice, and I knew I had to listen. And it was hard to listen, especially when it was that.
Yeah.
And then I heard, your season is over. You're not supposed to be here, so go. I'm like, okay. So yeah. I literally didn't take another application. I let my team close out the rest of the transactions just because there was commitments and contracts. But I never did another mortgage again. And I literally, that day changed my life forever, because that day opened me up to doing the business consulting that I was doing for a while. It opened me up to actually finding my soulmate, the woman that is the greatest gift that God has ever given me. Like everything changes as a result of listening to God. And he's always had this level of conversation with me, but that was a determining moment. From there, my life has completely gotten radical to a point to where everything is exciting and amazing. There's scary moments, but at the same time, I know where I'm going and I know what I'm supposed to do. So it's been an incredible journey that I'm involved in because of me just listening. That was a defining moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And that makes perfect sense to have things happen that are scary. In the state that you're talking about is more, it makes you more enabled to go through those moments and in a better place, right? This is a good question, Kathy. Thank you. And it kind of alludes back to when we were talking about much earlier in the show, and we were talking about, today's men, have different challenges that maybe past generations didn't as much. So how do you define true masculine leadership in today's world? Great question, Kathy. I think maybe I'm wrong.
I like the question too.
How you doing on time, by the way?
We're doing good, actually. I pushed my call,
cool.
So I'm yours. Okay.
All right.
So
I've got at least 5 more.
Okay.
Questions.
No problem. I literally just told,
Okay,
brother,
you told me you were
the
going to do
brothers,
that. I saw that.
we're going to have to reschedule. What's
Gotcha.
that?
I said, I saw you. I said, I remember you told me that you were, you might do that. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to confirm it though. So
Yeah,
manage
absolutely.
it.
So how do you define true masculine leadership in today's world? So
Mhm.
here's what I believe. And I'm going to make a global statement here, which, usually, or sometimes you can get in trouble when you make a global statement, but this is what I believe. I believe all women, what they truly want is they want to feel safe, protected by their man. They want everything to be taken care of by their man because that's how they were designed. They weren't designed to change the world. They weren't designed to be the leader of the household. They weren't designed to make all the money. They weren't. They have very important roles with the roles that they were designed to have. But part of this spiritual warfare that we have and the enemy trying to confuse the household, the women are going to say, look at the TV shows we have now. The women are going to save the world. The women are going to make all the money. The women are the executives. The men are the ones that stay at home. That is the enemy confusing the household. So true masculine leadership is actually taking care of that man's family to a point to where that wife feels so protected and so at ease knowing that that man is leading the family, not just leading the family with his own mind, but he's leading the family connected to the creator of the world. When a man connects with God on a daily basis and gets inspiration on a daily basis from God, and then leads his family from that inspired information that he's getting from God on a daily basis, that woman can follow that man. The reason why women won't follow a lot of the men that are out there today is because those men are weak. We don't follow weakness. Goes back to the example of the homeless guy. I'm not going to take advice from this dude. He has no impact over me. It's the same conversation when it comes to the household. The women, when there is a weak man, they feel obligated. I've got to go make the money. I've got to go charge. I got to go do this. I got to go do that because the man is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. So this message is not for the women. Like, yes, the women can hear this, but this message right here is for the men. Men need to stand up. Men need to be stronger. Men need to lead. Your women are begging you to lead them. They're begging you to lead them and make them feel safe, make them feel excited, make them feel sexual. All of this stuff is what they want. They will follow you if you're a leader. If you're connected to God and you're actually living the household or leading the household the way you're supposed to lead it, they will follow you every single time.
That was bad timing on my part. And totally agree with what you're saying. And actually, there's been several ladies that are asking that question. So I think that that the concept
maybe they could respond back with the answer I just gave and just they agree or disagree. Like, does women want to feel safe?
Oh, it's
do they want to be led? Yeah. Do I have this right?
Yeah, this, and then right after it, Allie. And yes, and also, I'm glad you said that. Before we send you back to the green room, which we're not going to do right away, but I don't want to forget it. Leave your contact information because inevitably, and you have a pocket. People show up weeks later, days later, months later, and they go, "Oh, let me watch this." And then they have a question, and I get it. So if it's posted there, your information, it helps.
Would it be okay if I actually just gave them my cell number? They could just text me. Would that be okay? If you've got
I have no worries. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sure.
If someone has a question about what we're talking about, just text me. If someone wants a true mission session with me, text me. It's that simple. I'll give you the number now. Is that okay if I do that, Rod? Want to make sure.
Let me type while you're talking.
Okay.
You're doing exactly what this show's about. Sorry.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead.
My direct cell phone number is 469-553-9655. Again, 469-553-9655. Now, this is for men. If you want to have a session, you want to dig deep and you want to actually have this conversation or open up this dialogue on, is what you're doing actually the mission that you believe you're supposed to be on? Let's have the conversation. If you've got a question, men, send me a text message.
All right. Speaking of that, I put it in, it didn't show up. Give me that number again.
Yeah.
I'm not being very powerful right now.
You're being great. 469 553
553
9655.
9655. Ooh, look at this. You're going to be so proud of me. Look at the comments. Come on, man. You got to give me my props here. I pulled it off. Information's in there. And all correct, right? So, these are the things and these are the moments that people really, this is the moment. And I think you even said this, the time is now, right? That we need to come together because the world, society, the families, they're going, their engines are running without a rudder or, a guiding for a boat. They're not, it's not as efficient or healthy or happy as it should be, because it's not natural. That's what I think. Love the energy. Great show. Thank you very much, Bradley. I appreciate it. Oh, wow. Clive Root. Hey, Clive, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. This live is a blessing. Feel fired up. I think Clive's going to give you a call probably, along with myself. Oh, there he is again. Great show. Grateful to be here live. Okay. Hey, got to the whole last part were questions. They were like, hey, dude, this is awesome. And so I think you have a whole new group of fans. There's still 300 people on. Yeah. A great message, man. I mean, literally, this is the world. This is the world at a moment we really need to understand what is best to make improvements in ourselves, in our society, in our world, and our vibe on. And that's important now because we haven't even got into, not that we're going to, but speak about AI, and that's going to really change society a lot. And if we're balanced and based, that's a word, based. If we're in a situation where society now is producing as it should and thinking and acting and responding as it was built to do, AI is going to have a positive effect. Not necessarily as much of one if, like you said, we're out of tweak here. What do you got for a last statement? Really appreciate this, man. This was a great show.
Just real quick, not last statement, but to comment on AI. I love AI. I use
it all the time.
Yeah, I use it all the time. And if you use it correctly, it can completely change your life. It really can.
100%. In the positive.
Yeah. It's a tool that everyone should be utilizing. You can train your own AI too. If you notice, as you log in and as you have connection with the AI, it actually remembers a lot of what it's doing. So anyway,
you train it.
You
train the assistant. I use it constantly, and we actually are developing a series right now for aging Americans that are living in a world that's starting to, but really going to move way faster than they are.
Yeah.
To give an example, that is much less, but still in the 80s or 90s or whatever, like you were talking about, we had cell phones coming out, computers, internet, the whole world for people in their probably, let's say we need to be careful of people in their late 40s, maybe, but definitely into their 50s and beyond. There was a lot of depression. There was a lot of isolation from an entire group of people, our seniors, our leaders, the people that we stepped on their back to go to the next step, and it's going to be, that's nothing. AI is like that on steroids, right?
Yeah.
So it's important, man.
Yeah.
Oh, look
so
go ahead.
Do we have another question? We can answer another question. You have another question?
I don't, except for
Okay.
No, I mean, right now we don't. Usually what happens though is right when we're wrapping up, somebody throws a question in, but yeah, it looks like everybody's winding down here, because this message is too important to just listen to. The message is important enough to consider and act upon, be that person. What do you think? I said the AI thing. What do you think about the AI thing? I know you use it all the time. It'll make our lives easier. But how do you think? Like, I had a woman on a couple of weeks ago. She created this this app that is a constant feedback of how things are being, how your relationships are going. It's really fast. It's called Gemini AI. And every day we talk about, literally, I'd say almost in every episode, we do an episode 1 or 2 a day, every weekday. And I bet you now, at least 70%, 65%, whether they're supposed to be, whether that's the subject matter or not, AI is affecting everything, dude. I mean, seriously affecting everything.
Yeah.
So how do you, is there anything more that in your opinion, AI is going to make your life better for? Because there's all sorts of things that,
how about I just share like how the men in the Brotherhood actually use it? I think that would be
great idea.
Yeah. So one of the things is we have men actually reading the Bible.
Hold on, you broke up there for a second. From when you said the
Okay.
thing is, and then you said men reading the Bible.
Inside the Brotherhood, one of the most important things we do is all the men read a portion of the Bible on a daily basis. So this is how we actually use AI to help us with this. So when a man is starting to get this connection with God, he can sit in his quiet time just for a few minutes. Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to learn? What am I supposed to see today? When they get that answer, or when they get this idea, like Easter was a very hot one, very hot topic. I want to learn about the crucifixion. I want to learn about, Easter and the holiday and Passover and how all this stuff works. We literally ask ChatGPT, where in the Bible can I learn about this? Where in the Bible can I learn about Jesus being crucified?
Oh, wow.
Where in the Bible, him rising back up? How many days did it take for Jesus to actually put him in that tomb? Because you might already know a bit about the story, but you have a question. ChatGPT tells you exactly where. And ChatGPT, in my opinion, is like, it's just the craziest thing ever. There's like no opinion when you ask direct questions like that. You work chat the way that I'm showing you to work it. Then what happens is they're like, oh yeah, you can find it here. You can find it in the book of Matthew. You can find it here. You can find it here in this chapter and in these verses. Then the men which is the Holy Bible, free download. They literally go to that chapter. They look up those verses and the Bible that they like to read. And then now they're completely in, and they didn't have to go through the however many pages the Bible is. I don't know how many pages. It's a lot that they had to like search through to find the topic to get the information that they wanted. That's how we're using it. And then ultimately put up this channel revelation. So it's time to actually get some answers.
I heard channel and then revelation and then answers. What was that sentence? Sorry. Technology's great, but it's not perfect yet.
Yes. So the first step is to read the Bible. The second step is to sit and look for revelation. Meaning, like, God, what am I supposed to do with this, what I learned today? It's one of the questions that we ask. Or what did I see while I was reading? Or how am I supposed to apply this in my life? And then all of a sudden you start to get revelation, you start to get ideas. And if you just consistently, what happens is you build this opportunity to literally have a Bible study with God every single day. And when you do this, you start to connect yourself with God at a completely different level. And then once you do that, then you can ask him the big question. God, what is it that I can do for you today? Then he's going to, and you start doing that, things will never be the same for you in your life. Because now you're living on true mission.
Beautiful message, man. No doubt about it. That's beautiful. You want to wrap up a little bit? We both have some time things to work on, or is there additional stuff that you want to go through? Because this is captured now, right? It's a reference moving forward in this space, just like every other. I think we have 115 videos now or something like that with different playlists depending on subject. And what you're talking about and what your mission is literally the centerpiece of, I'll be a little glamorous, human society. I'm sorry, of the world's future. You know, we've really got ourselves in a sticky mess, and thankfully, a little more politics. This administration, I always say, trust but verify. And Reagan, he coined that. And
Yeah.
you know, this is where it's important. Any lasting considerations and things to leave us with here?
Yeah, the true fulfillment only comes when you're on mission, the correct mission. You can only get that answer from God. It's that simple.
Wow.
There's nothing else to say.
That is. You know what's funny? The most impactful and important things, a lot of times, or many times, boom, they're right there. It's just like when you're on mission. You know, you don't have to do a whole word salad like I do every show.
Nope.
Yeah. So, hey, give everybody your fans, give them a big wave. I'm going to throw you back in the green room, and
Okay.
and then I'll close it out. We can catch up on a couple of things if you want after I'm done. All
Beautiful.
right.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Give us a wave.
All right. See you.
Oh, it did it again. Dang it. I always want to do that, and I'm trying to practice getting it right where it's see everybody, and then I click, and inevitably it turns into see it. That sucks. Sorry about that, dude. Do it again.
See you guys next time.
Thank you. That was a good one. All right. So we are getting ready to shut down here. We've got 2 episodes tomorrow. Let's say in parallel messages, more now focusing to the female great American middle class. We have 2 of them tomorrow. One at, I think it's 10:30, and one at 2:30. So come join us. We're Insights and Straight Talk on LinkedIn, and on my profile in LinkedIn, and on these are right now streaming both to LinkedIn and to YouTube. On YouTube, our channel is at Rod Duff 1939, and that'll take you right to Insights and Straight Talk with your host, Rod Duff, and of course, always with producer Barbie's willingness to make me not be too much of a klutz. And with that, I'm out.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.